This video is going to cover how to properly annotate adverse conditions that have occurred during a trip. This could either be after you have returned from a trip that you have marked an adverse condition, or after you've been notified by the log auditor that you need to add additional comments to an adverse condition. I'll also show you how to add an adverse condition if you had forgot to do it in the vehicle. The first note to make is that an adverse condition can be selected from the comments on the device only if you are physically stopped. So if you're still rolling along in traffic at a slow pace, it's not going to let you select the adverse condition until you've stopped. So you can do so at your next stop, that's fine, and then add the additional information, or you can do it, as I'll demonstrate here in a moment, on the computer after you have returned from your trip. In either case, the system doesn't know what your adverse condition was. So just like on your paper logs where you would have to write in the location, reason, and length of delay, you need to do that too on your electronic log, and you do that through the additional comments. So this is a log on June 18th of a trip I drove, and I marked an adverse condition here at about 9:30 a.m. So I'm going to scroll down in my log, and you can see here 9:30 a.m. I was around North Lima, Ohio, and I marked adverse conditions. So you see there's the comment. But I now need to add the reason and length of delay. So the best is to provide as much information as possible to justify that adverse condition. So in this case, I was on, actually on I-79, mile marker 65. I'm going to say accident, 30-minute delay. And you see you can just type all that in right here. I actually wasn't in North Lima. I'll say again, I was right about Zelienople. So be as accurate as you can. But you want to add this additional comment, because that's what is going to be looked at. If you ended up with a violation for the day, you need to be able to justify the length of time that you went over. So if you were delayed for this 30-minute accident, and you had marked this adverse condition, and you went over on your drive time by, say, 15 minutes, so you drove for 10 hours and 15 minutes, they would want to see this, and they'd say, oh, okay, well, you marked a 30-minute delay, so those 15 minutes that you went over are okay. So the more information you can provide to justify that adverse condition, the better it will be if it's ever questioned. And then again, like every other time, if you've made a change to your log, be sure to save it, because it will not stay there if you just exit. And I'm just going to put other for the reason, and I'm just going to mark adverse conditions. And save. So now what if I hadn't marked it in the vehicle and there wasn't this yellow dot already created? I can go ahead and create one at any point on here after I've returned from my trip. So let's say the same thing had happened here at around 6 o'clock, or rather 5 o'clock. I'm just going to click on the driving line at the time that I want. So 5:05, that's good enough. 5:03, I'm just going to click on the driving line. So what does that do? That creates a new comment line down here. It's going to be at the bottom of the entire list until you save, in which time it'll put it in chronological order. So 5:03, I was around Crownberry Township driving, so I can now select the comment by clicking in the box. You get the drop-down arrow here, the menu. One of the comments is adverse condition. You have road or weather. Weather would obviously be if you encountered a storm, hailstorm, snowstorm, lightning, whatever it may be, wind that delayed you. In this case, I'm going to mark road again, and I'm going to say that there was a downed tree. This time I was I-79 northbound, mile marker 78 approximately, and it was a 15-minute delay. So now again, if I had exceeded my drive time, they would want to know how long that delay was for, so I need to mark it on here. And the same rule applies. You always want to save any changes And again, I'm going to select Other, Adverse Conditions, Save. And after I save, here you can see that it put that comment, that adverse condition here with my additional comments in chronological order at 1703 in Cranberry Township.